Welcome to Spotlight New England. I'm one of your hosts, Audrey McClelland.
And I'm Ashley Erling. Are you feeling recovered?
I am actually feeling recovered. I actually needed last night too.
Yeah.
As like a nice little like R&R, because that's how we R&R, we shop.
Yeah.
And it's just how we do it.
We had what would you call it, a shopping event?
It was a little shopping event last night.
Yeah.
A little girls' night.
A girls' night. So it's nice because, occasionally we'll do things like this. We'll have a group of girls, content creators or local influencers and, go to different places, do different things. And so last night we went to Rentham.
We did some damage.
Which is like everyone's favorite place, obviously.
It is. You know what? I'm always so like happy to like, and sometimes I always forget about this, how quick we can get to Rentham.
Yes.
I mean,
no, it
honestly.
is. It really is. It's super quick.
It's just like right around the corner.
And it was such a nice day.
It was a perfect day. Oh, we had dinner at that tavern last night, which I know we have one as well over in Garden City. It's like just a great eatery. And we shopped, I think we hit, I would easily say, would you say 12 to 15 stores?
Yes. Yeah, about a dozen.
We were only there for 3 hours.
By the way, in case people haven't been to Rentham lately, this playground, if you have kids, is amazing.
Yeah.
Like one of the top playgrounds I've ever seen.
Yeah, and they had another playground too, a little bit down near like the actual welcome center as well. And then they have another one in another spot.
Yeah.
And I was actually thinking like, for the older kids, one would be great.
Yeah.
And we were with some of our friends who said, oh yeah, like my kids were on the younger side.
Yeah, and here's our
just
crew.
Let them play.
Okay, so you recognize some of these people because Dr. Daryl is right there next to you.
Yes.
Who was our first guest on the show. And then also your sister Jane.
Yeah, she was there.
Rhodey Family. Who we also had on the show. And then
we have one of all those ladies there.
Karen, who we know from, different events, and she's a local influencer.
Yeah, Flirting with 50.
Haley, Andrea, Courtney. I can't remember who was down at the end. Crystal. So fun night.
Just a really great night. Everybody coming together. And I always forget how good it feels when just you come together. And I think shopping is just like it's like a common denominator.
Well, for that group, for sure.
I mean, everybody did a little bit of damage. Yeah. But it is fun like walking in together. It's great to shop on your own. But it also is fun to shop with I just love it. Shopping with other women who are kind of just there to have some fun too.
Well, so we went around to a bunch of different stores. And, Rentham hooked us up. Like they helped us find
they curated a nice little night for
different
us.
stores to go to.
What was your favorite?
So this is what I was going to say. Obviously, J. Crew was great.
Yeah, that was a great one.
You can always find lots of good stuff at J. Crew Factory, especially for like work.
And you got denim, right?
I did.
Yeah, they had some really good denim right now,
which is scary.
Yes, but
really scary,
but essential.
But 'tis the season. But actually, the sleeper that I didn't expect, and you know where I'm going with this.
Yes, I do know.
Clarins.
Yeah.
We all went wild at Clarins.
Totally influenced me.
I did, didn't
I?
To
get stuff at Clarins.
So I don't, TikTok is taken over, right? So I am on like makeup TikTok. Like that's like makeup skincare TikTok is probably like, how your algorithm feeds you.
Yeah.
I would say that's kind of my main thing. And so everybody talks about Clarins Double Wear Serum.
Right. Well, the second you walked in.
As soon as I walked in, they had it out everywhere because they know.
It's viral right now.
Viral. Yeah. So I was like, oh, you have the Double Wear here. And it's the outlet, so it's at a discount. So that I asked the woman to sell me.
Yeah, and
I was like, tell me, what is the big deal?
We have to give a shout out to Marjorie. That's who was in Clarins. Yeah. She was awesome. She was honest. She was fun. Yeah. She was trustworthy with us. She actually tried stuff on her own skin.
Yeah, and there were a couple of products we asked about, and she was like, honestly, I don't know if you would love that.
And I appreciate that.
And I appreciate that. However, I did buy the Double Wear
serum,
too. And I will tell you, it is an investment.
It is an investment.
So I will be trying it, but I was too tired this morning.
Spanx for your
face.
That's
what she said. But I was too tired this morning to actually put it on. So
I did put it on last night and this morning. And what's funny? When you put stuff on like that, you wake up hoping like Fountain of Youth happens overnight, where you actually wake up.
See, I'm different because I want to wait for the day that I have the time to sit down and properly apply, and I want to like read the back of the package.
Yeah. Oh no, I was like 18 squirts.
No.
Slapping it on my face. It was like soaking wet.
I was like, I'm
for it to dry up quick
on a day when I wake up earlier.
It was awesome.
It was a great day.
I have to say, it was a great night. Thank you to Rentham. We had a fun time. Everybody did some good shopping damage.
Yeah, we had a great time. We had a great time. But we're just getting started today on Spotlight New England. We have a really exciting guest up next, so stay with us after this short break. Well, a local filmmaker is getting ready to premiere her short at the prestigious Tribeca Film Festival. And as if that weren't enough, it is being executive produced by Spike Lee. Yes, that Spike Lee, and we are so excited to welcome local filmmaker Manya Glassman. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
We are exciting to have you here.
I have like a whole list of things I want to ask you because I am just so intrigued by you as a person, what you're doing at such a young age. You're like gaining all of this national attention. It is so impressive. We're going to dive into all of it. But I mean, really just start with like how you got into filmmaking, because it seems like you've been doing this for a while. This is not like an overnight success situation.
Right.
Thank you so much, and thanks for having me. I love your show. You guys are hilarious together.
You're so sweet.
Okay, how I got into it. So I've always wanted to do filmmaking.
Okay.
I have to give my parents credit. My dad is a documentary filmmaker.
Okay.
My mom, she teaches art history at Providence College. So I really grew up like watching movies every single night, all kinds of movies.
Wow.
It was like our purest family bonding time, you know?
Yeah.
And in the middle of watching the movies, my mom would be like trying to pause it and talk about the way the frame was, and my dad would get mad at her for pausing it. And
That's
let's keep going.
amazing. That's so cool.
Yeah, so growing up, and that's still the case when I come home.
I was just gonna say,
movie every night. Yeah. And then at a young age, I started to pick up the camera, and it was like a VHS camera, and editing in with the tape, and I would get my friends to act, get like Hope Street Pizza random places in Providence would allow me to just film little skits there and stuff. So I started doing that, and then when it came down to college, instead of going to a production school, I went to Providence College,
Right.
For a lot of reasons, but the main one is that they have incredible liberal arts program.
Yeah, they do.
And I was like, instead of learning about cameras, I would rather learn about life.
Yeah.
And
So smart.
like ethics is like an incredible subject to learn about, and then make movies. And I'm interested in all of these, areas of life in which then you can apply later to make a movie.
Yeah.
And then I went to NYU grad film after.
Unbelievable. And I guess we have to dive in now because you are obviously at NYU. And so you were a TA for Spike Lee with Spike Lee.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Okay. So
How does that happen?
How does it happen to a normal person,
Let's not act like that's not so cool.
well, thank you. So I graduated NYU in May last year.
Okay.
And in 2021, I want to say, it was right around when people started going back after COVID.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, Spike Lee, we call him Professor Lee. So,
Professor Lee.
Professor Lee is tenured at NYU and teaches on Thursdays. And I basically reached out to his supervisor and was like, does he need an assistant? Because I would love to be his assistant.
So you reached out. You were
I reached
proactive.
out, and she was like, there's an official application, blah, 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 blah. And so I was like, okay. So I did the application, and then he asked for an interview. So I went to 40 Acres, his production place in Brooklyn, and was interviewed, and then I got the job, basically. And after that, I worked for him for 2 years, and he's just incredible. I mean, he's like, he pays so much attention to his students. He helps them. He reads their scripts.
Oh, he does.
He watches their cuts. He gives feedback.
So you learn and you grow at the same time as being with them. Like you really do like perfect your craft.
Yeah. And something else that in his class, we'll watch movies and then we'll talk about it. And something that I loved was just like being in the same room as him and watching the movie.
Yeah.
And what I really learned from him as well is like he still watches it as an audience member.
Yeah.
Which I think a lot of filmmakers lose. Like they're thinking so much about the craft and like the shots, and he's still reacting. And
That's awesome.
And yeah, that's something that I like really think about for myself when I write movies. Is like I'm writing this for an audience. I'm not writing this necessarily for other filmmakers. You know.
It's a good point. That's a good distinction.
Yeah.
You're thinking about it that way.
So what was he like to work under? I mean, I personally would imagine extremely intimidating. Was that the case?
Well, he's a genius. So in that case, I think he's a genius, and he's been noted as one. I mean, I guess, yeah. but the thing about him is that like the fact that he's taking all this time to be at NYU and help people.
Yeah.
It's just like he really wants to be here, you know? So I feel like knowing that was helpful.
Yeah.
You know?
And kudos to you for actually going ahead and approaching them and saying like, hey, how do I do this? Like, I mean, that also must have been pretty intimidating to do.
Yeah, I was nervous to do that.
Yeah.
But I will say, like, when I got the job, I said to myself, I was like, my life is forever changed. You know?
Just like that.
And that's really what he does. Like, he changes people's lives.
Yeah. Well, your life had already been forever changed, right? So we'll backtrack a little bit because your short film is based on your life experience.
Yes.
So, you know, in whatever way you want to lay out how it went for you, either the life experience first or the film first. Tell us about, you know, what happened to you.
Yeah. Well, I'll say in my own life. So when I was 16, doctors found a benign tumor inside my third vertebra. And so, like, if you imagine that this is my spine and this is the vertebra, it was basically like becoming bigger and pushing on my spine. And since it's so high up, that's like a fatal area. So I remember I went for an x-ray with my mom. I had been in neck pain for a while, and then I went back to school. I was in math class, and I remember the nurse and the principal coming into math class and saying, Manya, could you just come with us? And the nurse grabbing my backpack. She was like, you don't need to grab it. And I knew in that moment, I was like, okay, something's serious. Went into the car. Turns out that the x-ray people had called my mom, and they were like, you need to bring her immediately to the emergency room. Like, she's got like a mass pushing on her spine and like could
Did
collapse.
you feel it?
Wow.
Well, I was in
like, were you
so much pain.
So it was
like
the pain
here.
through up top. And you were still carrying a backpack.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. I was still, actually it was terrible because what happened was I had been going to physical therapy for a while, and like the exercises were all like, oh, move like this and like try to, you know, and it was, meanwhile, like that was the
working
worst
against
thing.
it.
Yeah.
Oh, my
the worst
goodness.
thing that we could do.
Oh, my God.
So I went to the emergency room in Rhode Island, immediately was put on a stretcher with a neck brace. And at the time, though, and this is like, there's a scene portrayed in my film like this, I was like, Mom, like, take pictures. Neck brace, like, and on a stretcher, you know? And so, like, she's, like, taking the pictures of me, and I'm, like, going like this with the neck brace. And so it was, like, obviously a very dire situation, but it was also, like, whoa.
You're like, I think I'm going to want to remember that.
Yeah, like, this is going to be great on Instagram. Which is insane that I thought that. And that is something else that was really important to me in the feature and the short, is that it's a comedy, honestly. Like, in those situations, like in my life especially, you know, humor was so important.
That's how you dealt with it.
Yes.
It can be so healing.
Yeah. So anyway, they basically found out that I had that situation, and I had I mean, to this day, I'll just cut to the chase. I've had 18 surgeries.
Wow. Since then,
yes.
Wow.
But the film basically narrows down like one major surgery. Okay. So there was talk of one surgery that they didn't want to eventually have to do because it was life-threatening. And I ultimately ended up having to get it.
You did have to have it.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I don't know if like the camera can see, but like I have a...
Oh, yeah.
Oh, right in the back, right here. Yep.
And so, yeah, the film is about Iris, who finds out she has a 60% chance of dying in 4 days from the surgery. And so it's a comedy, coming-of-age movie, and it shows, you know, her facing her mortality and creating a bucket list. But, like, the things on the bucket list are, like, first kiss, you know, get drunk, like 16-year-old things.
Right.
Yeah. And so that's really where the comedy aspect comes into, because like although she's looking at like death straight on, she's also navigating the life of a 16-year-old girl. Yeah. And it was inherently funny that like I wore my neck brace to prom, you know? Like that's ridiculous. And like homecoming, you know, trying to like, you know, grind on the dance floor with a neck brace.
Your
like,
neck brace.
Yeah, like these were things that just...
That is funny, you're right.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So yeah, that's like the heart of the film.
That's amazing.
I honestly have goosebumps listening to you talk about that.
So
it's
there's
incredible.
just so much here. So this is a 20-minute short film.
Yeah.
You've now made the film. Now I'm fast forwarding only for the sake of time. Now you're going to the Tribeca Film Festival with this. Was this always your intention? What happens with things like this? Did you make it for yourself? Were you always making it to enter into other
that's
things?
A good question.
Like, what's the process there?
Yeah. So there's a lot of different ways that like I've learned or I've observed that filmmakers, like the paths that they go down to ultimately make a feature film. And one path is the festival circuit. So, Rhode Island has a great film festival. The Rhode Island Film Festival.
Flickers,
Yep, which I'm hoping to screen there as well in August. And so Tribeca, is an incredibly prestigious New York film festival that I was just so honored to be accepted. And that was, it was one of my goals. And especially, I love the fact that it's in New York because I see myself very much, rooted in Rhode Island, but also a New York filmmaker. Yeah, I love New York. And I want to live there, and that's another home. To answer your question, the festival circuit definitely is a route in which to eventually make the feature. And so per Spike's advice, he advised me to make this short as a proof of concept for a feature film. Wow. So here's 20 minutes. Do you want more?
Yeah. I love that. Tell me this, what does it feel like when you find out that you're accepted? When you find out that you get accepted in the Tribeca, I can't even imagine. It's like getting a lottery, winning a lottery.
They called and I was thinking to myself, be chill, but I think I screamed. I screamed. And then what I love about New York is I went on the streets and I screamed too.
Yeah.
I love
and
that.
everyone's like, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, I was so happy. And then yes.
And then how did your family react too?
Oh, my family was thrilled. They've had it in their calendar forever. And, and it's great because I cast, I filmed the short in Rhode Island. And so all of the people that I cast from Rhode Island are going to all go to, the red carpet in New York and everything. Yeah. No, I was really happy. There are moments in life where I'm like,
you'll remember.
Yeah. And I will say also, because this is a personal experience, I'm constantly telling myself, I still live every day, with the acknowledgement that it could be your last, you know? And so when those moments hit, I'm just, extremely grateful.
You're grateful.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Grateful for those moments.
And now, so you're working on the feature, which is so exciting, but you have other projects too. You're still working with Professor Lee, I think, on some things?
No. So he executive produced the short.
Yeah.
But I've graduated from NYU, so currently, I'm just making my own path. And so, the first steps, I'm trying to take it one step at a time is, I've done this short and now it needs to be a feature.
All right, focus on the feature.
Yeah. So How I Learned to Die is the title of the feature. And I want to make that. And then I want to make the next script that I wrote, so there are a lot of other things in the making, but it's always what comes first.
Right.
First?
You're on
Absolutely.
you're on your deadlines.
Yes.
And how do the ideas flow to you for the next project? Do you have a little notebook? You're constantly jotting ideas down? Oh, you do?
Yeah, I do. I have a notebook and I'm constantly whether I, hear sometimes dialogue on the street, and I'm like, oh, I gotta write that down.
I gotta get that in there, or a character, how do your characters come to life? They take pieces of people that you know.
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
Yeah.
That's primarily it. And sometimes I'll there will be a little situation. There will be little. I was wanting to give an example, but now I'm I don't want to spoil anything. Yeah. But little situations that will happen throughout the day, and I'm like, oh, that could be the seed of a bigger idea.
I see.
Yeah.
Or I'm really interested in characters that are sometimes morally ambiguous. You know, so it's really interesting when you have someone you relate to and then they do something that you can't relate to but you can kind of understand.
Yeah, it makes you explore your own thought process and what you would do in that situation.
Right.
What do you now that you're going to be premiering it at Tribeca, are you nervous? What are you hoping people will take away from it? Are you just super excited? Because I think both. I would just be super excited.
I'm both for sure. I am super excited. Sometimes it can be nerve-wracking, standing in front of a lot of people, but it's just so good that you can't even
explain.
Yeah, it's it's great to be nervous.
Yes.
Right, it's a good reason.
The nerves are good.
Yeah. The thing to hope to get out of it, is mainly just for people. I hope that the movie resonates with people.
Yeah.
And although it's that specific story, it is more so about when you go through something really hard and you come out of it. I mean, essentially.
Yeah.
It's like it's about resilience. And so I hope that people will resonate with it and find it to be fulfilling and like have all the emotions. Like I hope people laugh, cry, you know?
Yeah, you want them to have the full gamut.
Yeah. So I hope it touches people like first and foremost, but then I also hope people, you know, watch it and are interested in what happens in the future and like want to be involved in that way.
They want more.
You're incredible. Thank you so
thank
much for
you.
joining us. We're so excited
for
for you.
having me.
When you premiere in Rhode Island, you let us know.
Let us know.
I will.
Please.
I
It'd be
will.
amazing.
We'll come to that one. We can't get into Tribeca, but
No, unfortunately, we can't.
we can get in Rhode Island. And we're so excited for you, and we're rooting for you. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank
Awesome
you for
job.
having me.
Unbelievable.
And make sure to follow along on Manya's journey and stay with us. We will be back right after the break.
Oh, welcome back to Spotlight New England. And we are talking today about underrated vacation spots that you can take.
And there are so many, but this one specifically was from U.S. News, which is, you know, obviously a very reputable.
It's a heavier survey.
So we're excited to see a local place that was on it in the top 5, which was Block Island.
Block Island, number 5. That's pretty amazing. There it is right there. It is a beautiful spot to go to.
So were you surprised to see that Block Island was on it?
I mean, I think it's great that it was on it. I don't know if I was so much surprised. I think it is a really great destination. And to be honest with you, like I've told you, I've only been there once.
Right.
And I mean, I grew up in Rhode Island.
So that's
you know,
a very Rhode Island thing. I feel like if you're from Rhode Island, you're either like, I go to Block Island every summer.
Right.
Or you like haven't been.
Right.
Or you've only been like once.
A couple times. Right.
Isn't that so Rhode Island?
It is, because I know that one of my girlfriends, they rent a house there for I think like either a week or 2 every summer.
Yeah, some
it is
people
her
I know
happy
go
place.
every summer.
Right, she loves
for a
to
while.
go there.
Yep.
And it is one of those spots that you can just like enjoy.
Yeah.
It could be peaceful and quiet, or you could have like the Ballards experience.
Yes.
So I guess that's what it's called. It's a Ballards experience.
Is it not peaceful and quiet? No, there's a lot of different things you can do out there, and the natural beauty in Block Island. I did the whole like rent a moped.
Oh, that's right. You did like an actual weekend.
We went for a weekend, and I've been a few times, and I've done all different things, but I only went once for like an extended period, and so we tried to do as much as we could and explore the island, and that to me was the most fun thing I think that we did, renting the moped.
Yes.
I would maybe do a bicycle next time because I'm scared of everything, and I didn't, I was always afraid we were gonna like fall over and get hurt. I know we didn't, but the island is beautiful, and like it is small enough that you really can just like go all over. There's so much beautiful natural beauty there.
It really is.
Several
it's
different
gorgeous.
beaches, and then there's some great restaurants out there.
Yeah, there are some great restaurant spots. It is. It's a perfect spot. You could go for the day.
Yeah.
You could go for the weekend. You could go for the week.
Pull up the other.
I know Portsmouth, New Hampshire
so number
was
1
on
was
it.
St. Simon's Island, Georgia.
Yes.
Sawtooth National Recreation Area, which is in Idaho.
Okay, that was number 2. Yep.
Doric County, Wisconsin.
3
And Chattanooga
was 4. Yeah.
And then Block Island.
And
And then also
Portsmouth was 7,
Yeah,
right?
Portsmouth, New Hampshire was number 7.
Because I was saying to the guys this morning on the road show that my mother lived in Portsmouth. My grandfather was in the Navy, and New Hampshire was one of their spots, and Portsmouth was where they lived, and she loved it.
Yeah, lots of great places to explore. So head out to Block Island this summer once everything's open back up. And thank you for joining us today on Spotlight New England. We will see you next time.